that you eat is genetically modified. Most people, when they think about genetically modified food, think of like Twinkies and Snickers bars and candy. Actually, 75% of the food on any shelf in a store is genetically modified, and that's going to be the topic of my speech today. I'm going to go over what they are specifically, where they are found, who modifies them, how they are modified, and what the risk, benefits, and why labeling the genetically modified food is difficult. So first, what are GMOs? GMO stands for genetically modified organism. It's a plant like corn, soybeans, potatoes, and fruit that's changed. Animals are genetically modified. Almost all U.S. farm animals are genetically modified, like pigs, cattle, salmon. It was commercially introduced in 1996, and according to Center for Food Safety, currently 92% of corn, 94% of soybean, and 94% of cotton currently in the U.S. is genetically modified. Who modifies them? Scientists, researchers, and seed companies. How they are modified. So it's done in 4 steps. The first step, you want to identify what you want to change. So that would be like the color. Say you have an apple and you want to make the apple blue. So that would be the attribute you want to change. The second step would be mapping the organism, and you find where the color would be in the apple. And the third step would be introducing another DNA into it and trying to get it to change in that sequence. So that's how it's done. The risks and benefits, there's nutritional risk, which is why we started modifying food. You can get more nutritional benefit out of it. You can enrich the nutritional profile, like golden rice. They added vitamin A into it. Instead of just a carb, you get vitamin A. You can modify it to taste better, and then you can get your nutritional needs easier. Instead of having several different food, you can have a few select food that are changed to cover more. Economic benefits are higher yield for crop and more efficient use of the land. Fewer inputs, land, water, pesticides, and work. Less sustainable to drought, pest, and disease. Shorter growth life, and then it lasts longer on the shelf. And according to Coalition for Safe, Affordable Food, by 2050, the global population will be 9 billion. And experts are predicting that we're going to increase our food supply by 70% to meet that need. With all those benefits, there are a lot of risks. First, the health risks. When you modify those foods, you don't exactly know what's going to happen. So a lot of times you add more toxins into it. And that's a risk because we modify it to eat, and we don't know what's going to happen. Allergic reactions in genetically modified food is very common. And according to a study by International Research Group Forensic in Norway, they showed that animals that were fed genetically modified corn got fatter. They were less able to digest proteins due to alterations in their intestines. So they weren't even modified themselves. They were just eating the food like we are. The herbicides that they use on the field is another health risk. That's done in all kind of farming. Herbicides are used in massive amounts to kill weeds and other plant matter, besides the modified crops that are resistant to it. This can lead to, they call it super weeds, which are resistant to that, and then they just keep getting stronger. So the herbicide doesn't have any effect anymore. Doctors in Sherbrooke University in Quebec found that the Bt toxin that they add into corn, they found it in 93% of pregnant women, 80% of the umbilical cord in the babies, and 60% of non-pregnant women in a study that they had. So that was kind of shocking, seeing that the toxins they add to the corn to make it last longer and be better and grow better is actually found years later in the woman's body. My last topic is labeling for the genetically modified food. The Federal Drug Administration in the U.S. does not require it to be labeled at all. This means the consumer does not know between one apple and another apple off the shelf besides the brand name or the sticker on it. This is difficult for the United States because the price would skyrocket. You'd have to label every company and say how it's genetically modified. Worldwide though, 64 countries require it, 23 European nation countries, and Japan, Australia, Brazil, Russia, and China. 26 countries globally restrict GMO products completely, including Russia, and the US has no law requiring labeling of genetic foods at all. So in conclusion, I hope that you can make a more informed decision about genetically modified products and food, that you know what they are, where they come from, how they are modified, the risk and benefits, and labeling laws.